Hello, everyone, and welcome to this presentation at OPIT, this webinar. I'll just wait until everybody settles in, and then we're going to start. Okay, this is a webinar from OPIT, and we have a guest speaker that I'll introduce in a second. So the title of the webinar is The Lucky Future, How AI Aims to Change Everything, and is hosted by OPIT, Open Institute of Technology. So welcome everybody again. My name is Greta. I'm head of marketing and admissions at OPIT, and I'm here today with Professor Zorina Aliata. Hello, Zorina.
Hello.
Zorina, she's a principal AI and generative AI strategist at Amazon, and she's also a professor at OPIT. Okay, so just a few words about OPIT, and then I leave the floor to Zorina. So first of all, like what is OPIT, who are we, and like what sets us apart. I'm going to give you some, first of all, about our mission is to unlock progress in employment on a global scale. So our idea is to bring top quality and affordable education in the field of technology everywhere to everyone and make sure that everybody can access it, but also enjoy modern education about what is computer science, AI, for instance, and the ethics about AI, data science, cybersecurity, and so on and so forth. We differ from other institutions because we strongly believe in the quality of what we're doing. We are accredited at the European level, also internationally in Europe, in Canada, and the US. Our programs are flexible and they are fully online, and so you can enjoy your learning from wherever you are. Their focus, as I said, on technology. They're definitely career aligned, so they've been designed with professors, with like companies and employers, with the idea to give and bring to class what is needed today in the sphere of technology. You will have support all the time, even though we're online, the support is always available, and we are inclusive and affordable in many aspects. But I'm going to talk about these things a bit later. As I said, one of our key strengths is our professors, starting from our rector, has been former Minister of Education in Italy, Professor Profumo, has been also Rector of Politecnico di Torino and participated in many different companies. We have many professors coming from all over the world. You can have a look at the list on our website. Zorina is one of them. Our professors come from universities, but also come from companies. So what they bring to class, it's also their expertise, what they see on a daily basis, and the business that they're facing with the challenges that they're facing. But now, without any further ado, I would just leave the floor to Zorina to talk about the lucky future. So how AI aims to change everything, and just let her share her slides.
Sure. All right, let me try and share my screen. Can you see it all right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right, well, hello, everybody. I see a couple of familiar names, so nice to see you all. For those who don't know me, my name is Zorina Aliata, and in my day job, I work for Amazon. I'm a principal AI strategist there, and I've been doing this for the last 6 years. And I also teach. I love teaching, so I always have some kind of teaching assignment going on, and so I love teaching at OPIT right now. A couple of the courses for the master's program. You can find me on LinkedIn. Would love to connect with each and every one of you. And over there, that's one of my favorite pictures, favorite photos of myself with my friend Pepper. This was taken back in 2016, so almost 10 years ago. And Pepper was one of the robots that worked with me. I was at Capital One bank, a large bank in Washington, D.C. I was living and working there. And we had 5 Peppers. This was one of them. I think this one was number 3, but they were all adorable. And they had jobs. So this particular Pepper worked in customer service. So she had an email, she had the phone number, and you could call her and ask for help. like, hey, my computer is not working, what should I do? And she would try and help. Of course, at the time, the assistants weren't that great as they are today, but still, it was something very interesting. So yeah, loved working with her. And a reminder that it's been quite a while since the robots are amongst us. So why did I entitle my presentation The Lucky Future? I'm going to explain it like on the last slide, so you kind of have to just bear with me to see. But I think everybody understands the subtitle, right? Generative AI does try to change everything that we do. And first, for those who like maybe are sleeping under a rock for the last 2 years, but just to kind of baseline what we call generative AI, generative artificial intelligence, this is the type of AI that generates, hence the name, generates new content, right? And the content can be text, can be images, videos, and even music. And I put there a couple of images of an astronaut on a horse, which was one of the first images that came out. I believe maybe it was DALL-E model that generated this, and it became famous instantly, right? Because at the time it was extremely unusual to have a computer, a machine generate new art. How does it work? It's powered by so-called foundation models that are basically models that are pre-trained on really, really large volume of data. People took, Google, OpenAI, they took all the data I ever written digitally that they could find, and they fed it into these models, into these algorithms to learn, right, to teach the algorithms how to figure out what words, what pixels might come next. So also to kind of look at what happened and where we are, I am old enough to remember the AI winter, where we studied AI in college, but then when we went out into the world, there was no AI anywhere because basically no one knew how to make money with it. So then there were no investments, right, in AI at the time. And then about 10, 15 years ago, AI came back in the form of machine learning. Machine learning is, a type of AI where you look at the data, a lot of data, find the patterns, model that, and apply that model towards the future data, right? So you're predicting what will happen in the future based on what you learned from the past. And you can optimize for specific outcomes, right? Like, hey, how did my t-shirt sold for the last 10 years? Oh, okay, I see some patterns. If I apply that intelligence to the future sales, my sales will increase, right? So you can optimize for specific outputs. And who doesn't have an output that they want to optimize, right? Everybody wants to optimize on something. So machine learning finally found its place in industry, right? Everyone started using it. Every company started using ML, mostly to automate, to automate things that, maybe people are doing. So many times I've seen people do Excel, like Excel documents for budgets, let's say. Very complicated Excel documents with lots of macros and whatnot. Those can be all replaced by machine learning, right? You feed the data into it, machine learning algorithms figure out the patterns, and they predict what the budget should be for next year. And it just works, right? You don't need to pay all those folks to do the macros in Excel. So we automated a lot. We started even some robotics, especially in factories. But then we even moved on to generative AI, right? A couple of years ago, generative AI became mainstream. And I have never seen something get adopted this fast as generative AI did. And that's probably because it filled a need, right? We all needed it for some reason, and I'll get to that reason later. But we really needed this in our life. We really needed this type of intelligent assistant to really talk to us, to really abstract the technology for us, right? And if you had asked me, 10 years ago, what I thought that AI will do, I would have said you will continue automating repetitive work like those Excel things, right? And inventories and predicting, sales for products and maybe price optimization, right? The things that we would do all the time. I would have said it will get better at that and keep automating. But I did not think that it was going to create. I did not think that it was going to go that way. And that is the amazing and also scary part about AI. We can't always tell which way it's going to evolve, right? So after the creative tasks from generative AI, we now are here where AI can do complex tasks, right? You've heard of AI agents. These are programs that basically orchestrate several different types of tasks, just like a person would, right? Just like a planning and calling different jobs to do different things. So we gotten to the point where AI can do complex tasks. And if you listen to the folks in AI, you'll know that everybody's working toward achieving artificial general intelligence or AGI. I've heard, I think the NVIDIA CEO said it's coming like next year. I think he said 2026, I believe. OpenAI is saying about 2030. And then there's other folks who say about 10 years. And then there's a lot of folks that say it's not achievable at all. AGI is when a machine is just like a person. It can do anything that human can do, that our brains can do. So there's a lot of folks out there, a lot of scientists and AI professionals who don't think we can achieve AGI, at least not with the tools that we have now, right? That we will need different types of tools and more interesting tools, discoveries before we can go towards AGI. In the meantime, we're here, and AI already is having great effects on everything we do. For example, you might have heard the jobs, a lot of folks saying they lost their jobs to AI. And then all these scary studies, right? Like, oh, generative AI is going to take 300 million jobs, or 30% of jobs are at very high risk from AI. Some companies laying off workers and saying, they will be replaced by AI already. So all of that stuff makes people very worried, right? It is like a large majority of people are not very comfortable with using AI for everything in the enterprise. There's several studies. This is just one of them from McKinsey, but there's others, many others. They're looking at these figures in different ways and study this in different. I believe the last one is from Anthropic, a socioeconomic index that they've created just based on what people search for when using Claude. So it's really interesting. It just came up like last week at the Paris summit in maybe a few days ago. So if you look it up for Anthropic on Anthropic website, you will see another study like this on how generative AI transforms work and our jobs. But I like this image because it shows to me something very interesting. Every industry will be affected. And I get this question all the time, but what will not be affected by generative AI? I can't come up with an answer. I think that, look at this, everything will be affected. Nobody's saying, oh, we don't care about it. We're not going to use it for anything. We're just going to keep doing what we're doing in our little Excel. No one's saying that. Everybody wants to use it, right? And this was, look, back in 2023, already 6 in 10 organizations plan to use generative AI, and more than half are doing pilots. And I can tell you in 2024, a lot of companies, the majority, have moved from pilots to production. So generative AI is in production one way or another for a lot of companies. what happens is there's other studies out there. So we have to be careful, right, how exactly this is working, because it's nice to automate and use Gen AI and AI to automate and augment jobs, right? But in the end, if you look carefully, and there's a link there, this organization that created this study, it turns out that AI will affect female employment more than male employment. And that's just because the type of jobs that are easier to automate and augment are the type of jobs that lots of women are employed in, right? Like back office jobs and things like that. And that happens in the countries with several high income, right? But still, it's something worrying, because if a large share of the population is affected, right, about this is not going to be good for the society at large. The number one thing I see in industry, right, and all the companies I work with, that makes a difference right now, it's the code companion agents. And these are the models, the programs that help you code. I don't know if you guys use any. I hope you do if you're coding, or if you're not coding, I still hope you do, because you don't need to know a lot of code anymore to use these agents. They will generate the code for you if you tell it what to do. There are agents out there that do this complex type of tasks, so they create your entire application for you. And even they do all kinds of extra stuff, such as they will find defects, and they will find security problems. They will find if you have anything in there that's open source. Whatever, other things your company might need, you can use this code companion agents for it. And this study that we cite from AWS, this was from last year, so I wouldn't be surprised if now the numbers are even higher. But at the time, using this code companion agent saved it was about 60% faster and about 30% successful, right? Which is, you might say, is just as good as a junior programmer, right? That you're hiring and is just learning and might make mistakes. Not only that, but in the same spirit of low code, no code type of things available, there's a lot of ready-to-use models. A lot of the stuff that we did in machine learning for the last few years are now available, already packaged, pre-trained, and ready to run. So you don't need to hire a data scientist. You don't need to write code yourself. Things like sentiment analysis, detection in images, extracting entity, all of these things are already available for you to use, right? So you don't need to code anymore. What's really scary about the generative AI effects on what's going on right now is that it doesn't just affect the coding. I see generative AI affecting the entire software development lifecycle. And I gave just some examples here, but the one at the bottom that impressed me the most, and I think it was last year or so when I saw it. It was a team that drew some diagrams for a new app design on a whiteboard. Then they took a picture of the diagrams. You were just like blobs, right? They took pictures of that, uploaded it to one of these large language models and said, generate an app. And it just generated the code for the entire application. As a former software developer myself, that was amazing, right? That was amazing to me. That was weeks and weeks, if not months of work that were saved and done in minutes. So it's the idea of taking an image and transforming it into code, or taking words, right, or prompts and transforming it into code and into application. That is amazing. And from there, predictive code, finding bugs, generating test cases, documenting the code. That is awesome, really good. Generative AI is really good at this, the large language models, in picking up this old legacy code that maybe we've inherited for, decades. You will go in and document it and create user guides for the code. So they are extremely powerful, and they can improve your entire development life cycle and help you deliver much faster. And in the same spirit of some good stuff, some bad stuff. Well, let's see. It's very expensive to create this type of models, right? The foundation models, the large language models. Can you imagine the volume of data that we trained this on? Not everybody can do it, right? It's getting quite expensive, and they have to consume a lot of resources. And a major concern is starting to be, well, can we be sustainable? Can we still do AI and yet take care of our environment? This was from GPT-3, so this was a while ago, but this was a study, I want to say 2019. If you Google it, you will find the exact study, but basically whatever we consume to train ChatGPT-3, that's as much electricity consumed by 120 US homes in an entire year. That's a lot of power and energy. Hence, there's a lot of interest in, how we can make sure that, yes, sure, we all love AI. Yes, we all want AI, but can we do it in a way that, we're not destroying the entire planet and drink all of the water? And I don't know if you've heard this, but they say that every time you ask a large language model like ChatGPT, you ask a question, it's the equivalent of drinking a glass of water. And you can imagine there are millions of us asking millions of questions, right, every minute. So how can we make that still work? If you actually do generative AI or create generative AI products yourself, there are different implementation patterns, right? You can just use something that already exists, use one of these foundation models and just do some prompt engineering and create your own app for whatever you need. It's totally fine. It will work for, several types of use cases. If you want to take the foundation model capabilities, but make it, specific, customized to your data, then maybe you want to use like a retrieval augmented generation or RAG type of solution, where you just upload your own information somewhere, but still use one of these pre-trained models that somebody else trained, right, and spent the money on. You can just use it just so it filters the results through your own knowledge base. Then you can fine-tune one of these foundation models yourself, which means, well, the model is fine, but I want to fine-tune it specifically to learn about my entire domain, right, with my terminology, my specific parameters. That is getting more expensive because now you're talking about really understanding the algorithms under the hood and how it works. Now you're starting to consume quite a bit of resources, right? And then if you want to build your own model and train it from scratch, that is getting to be extremely expensive and costing quite a lot of resources, right, to do something like that. So that is just to say, the more choosing your implementation pattern for your product, choosing the right one will help you, not consume so much energy and not have so much carbon emission. Just pick the implementation pattern that you really need for your organization, for your needs, for your use case, instead of, going for something that maybe it's too much. We teach an entire course on this, but what do we do to try and be more energy efficient? If we do AI, we can have like hardware optimization, where we're just trying to be better at creating chips and architectures that are very energy efficient. Cooling systems for the data center, that is a major problem. It's all that water is consumed. Something that we can all do when we write our algorithms, improve your code. right? Just, do you really need, if you guys heard of the DeepSeek, the model that came from China a couple of weeks ago, and everybody was talking about, they did something like this. They used the same idea as OpenAI and ChatGPT, but they used less parameters, right? So they had really good ideas of efficient engineering in training the model much cheaper, right? So they saved quite a bit of money and opened the door for many of us to do the same. Then there are alternative computing architectures for AI that are now being developed. You might have heard of neuromorphic computers, which are like trying to imitate the human brain with the neurons type chips, and then quantum, which is an awesome technology. Not yet ready for mainstream use, but a lot of investment there and a lot of interest. So probably we'll see many more news in that arena as well in the next couple of years. I wanted to give you an example from Amazon where we work and how we think about it because we're a cloud provider, right? So we're thinking about we'll do sustainability of the cloud, right? So it's our job to make sure that whatever we give for our customers, the infrastructure that we set aside is sustainable. And there are all kinds of commitments that not just Amazon, but all the other cloud providers made to be more sustainable. And my only advice to you is if you want to be sustainable and do AI products, be in the cloud, because all of the major cloud providers are very serious about this, right? So they're talking about sustainability of the cloud, but then also through the cloud. So your responsibility is to make sure that whatever you deploy in the cloud is also good and efficient, right? And it optimizes your workloads. So these are the risks that the generative AI brought. And believe me, we had risks before in AI because machine learning, right, predicts stuff. So predicts means, it's a number with probability between 0 and 1. That's the result. So it's not exact. And if you ask it once, it might be 0.6. If you ask it again, it might be 0.62, right? So it's not exact. It's a probability. So we had some risk with that, using that in business, right? So we managed to manage that. But generative AI brought a whole new slew of risks that we didn't even have before. And I think the most known of these is the hallucinations, right? So-called. The models are trained to give you answers, to generate. They will generate. If it's nothing there, they have no information, they've never heard of it, they'll generate something. And most of the time, it will be made up, right? And you can see this not so much. I mean, there's been a lot of work in tempering the hallucinations, but in the beginning, like if I ask who is Zorina Aliata, you will be the first phrase would be like, okay. And after that, you will just go and say crazy things like, I don't know, I'm an author of a course that cost $1,000. Like, no, I don't know why it inferred that just based on my bio. So maybe I should listen to it and do that. But hallucinations, it's a big problem, right? In business, you're trying to use generative AI. Everyone wants to use it. We use it for code. And how do we deal with that? That is a risk. And even if you work really hard and you use RAG and you use, fine-tune models and you use all kinds of other tools that you have at your disposal, there is still a chance that you will hallucinate. So you have to be very, very careful when and how you use generative AI, knowing that there is a chance, even if it's 1 in a million, that it will give you the wrong answer, right? Can your use case accept that, right? If you, we had a company that wanted to use generative AI for their technicians, right, in a factory. Well, what if it gets the wrong number and it says, turn this, knob to whatever value, and it was the wrong value, and like it caused a terrible accident? What if it hallucinated that one number, right? So you have to be very careful. How do we formulate the questions? How do we use it so it's a useful tool, but we're aware of the risk? Okay, and that's a whole art to it. This is one thing that happened. You might have heard about this, where Air Canada had to refund because their their chatbot just invented some policy that didn't exist, and the chatbot just totally made it up. And then they just kind of took it offline, but they had to pay, they had to honor, right? So the risk, if you're a business, can you afford this type of technology? Are you going to use it for what type of outcome, right? If you're liable to whatever it says. And people are worried. People are worried about the hallucinations, mostly for privacy and security, but also they're worried for everything. Like they'll manipulate elections and brainwash the society. They'll say crazy stuff that's not healthy, right? I think there was a funny story about one model saying that maybe it was Gemini, early version, that was giving out a recipe when it recommended that you should eat one rock every day, right? And it was very serious about it. So things like this, what if it says something that sounds like it could be good, but it's not, and then it affects the health of and well-being of people? So it is a major concern. On the other hand, hallucinations can be wonderful. I mean, look at this thing. I'm fascinated by it. I think it's amazing to me, and it's exactly what I would expect from AI art, just be totally out there. So, it could be beautiful as well. Just checking on the time. So one way to deal with this is, for example, in my work, we use the so-called pillars of responsible AI. So when we work with our customers and help them do AI products, we also make sure that they are aware of all of those risks, right? And that they do responsible AI. They develop AI in a responsible way, in a way that is fair, that is non-biased, in a way that makes AI useful for everybody, not just for certain people, right? And I think that, to me, I really like these pillars because I think they really encompass everything we should do going forward. And the number one at the top there is the value alignment. I don't know how many times along the years I've seen AI data scientists, right, or machine learning engineers so excited about finding something interesting in the data, and they start following something shiny, an interesting hypothesis that had nothing to do with their business, right? So make sure that whenever you're developing AI, it is actually aligned with what your company should be doing. And with the social norms. Just because you can do something, should you, right? Is it something good? Is it something that we want to use? And is it legal? So value alignment is super important, and already makes sure that the product you're developing is going to be received the right way. Privacy, security, fairness, transparency, and explainability. So understanding how the AI make the decision. If you are a bank, right, and you tell a customer, oh, you don't qualify for the credit card. Well, why not? I don't know, the AI said so. They said your credit is not good enough. Well, you can't do that, right? By law, you have to explain to the customer why you deny them credit. And how it has to be a real explanation, not the AI said so. So understanding that, you have to follow this type of transparency, explainability, compliance, regulations that you might have as a company. So when you develop your AI product, right, consider those. And then on the right side are the people, the kind of the soft skills that we need. First off, we need to be accountable. I hear this a lot about AI. Oh, AI did this, AI did that, or I go to talk with the AI. There's no such thing, right? It's us. It's us as human beings that created this AIs. And we should be accountable for how they behave and what they do, right? The AI doesn't do anything, at least not yet. So we have to like be involved. We have to monitor. We have to understand what is going on. And we get that by training and educating ourselves, like you guys doing right now, just by learning what is this thing, what does it do, right? So back to being a little bit scary, Sam Altman, who's the boss of OpenAI, he says OpenAI now generates 100 billion words per day. All people on Earth generate 100 trillion words per day. That is quite a scary number. And it's a good chance that soon enough AI will be speaking more than all of the human population. So why is generative AI so popular? How did it come to be used by everyone? I remember a couple years ago when they released ChatGPT for everybody, my mom called me. My mom is like super old. She's never used a computer in her life. And she asked me if she should fine tune a model. Why are those words in my mom's mouth? Everybody was talking about generative AI and models and RAG, and it's just everyone. It became so popular. It it filled the need. The need was we have too much information to deal with. It's just too much, right? We need to make all these decisions about every tiny thing several times a day. Well, I just want to buy a car. Well, oh, a million different websites with this discount, those discount, this deal, the other deal. I don't know. They all seem about the same. I don't understand all of the details. I just want a car, right? Information overload, decision fatigue. So when we get this type of thing, generative AI comes to the rescue, right? And it says, well, I'll just give you instant clarity. You upload a really complicated PDF document, scientific paper to AI, and say, explain this to me, summarize it, and it immediately does that, right? It simplifies, it clarifies, it explains it to you. And it's clear and it's concise. It's quite wonderful. So it helps cut through a lot of the noise. It also can personalize the results to what you need. If you tell it, hey, I am a woman, I am going to a wedding, right? I need a new type of gown, and I really like it to be, a certain way. You will personalize whatever the answer comes back with to show you only the items that you asked for. So therefore, it reduces your stress. And that's why generative AI feel the need, right? We use it. I saw a lot of people use it to try to explain their health results. Either find a doctor or upload their own test analysis and ask the generative AI, the large language model, to explain the results or tell them tell it what to do or what to think or some treatment options. So you can get that. Of course, please double check with the doctor. But a lot of people are using it to simplify and clarify this type of really complex information about their health. Same if you want to buy a house, right? How hard is it? How complicated? If you just tell it your preferences, you will go and find the perfect listings with the tours, and you will calculate whatever ROI, you will calculate what possible mortgage you might be paying. You will do all those things for you, right? So it simplifies finding a house. It simplifies your education, your travel, true personalized learning, personalized travel plans. I'm planning a girls-only trip with some of my friends, women friends from the US are coming to Europe. We're so using AI for all kinds of ideas and to generate the best possible travel itineraries and so forth. Or of course for your career. They have AI tools now to do your resume, to apply automatically to hundreds of jobs at once, and you will customize it for every application and create a cover letter and everything. So if nothing else, do check out those tools and kind of familiarize yourself with what's out there and what you can do with it. So you ask your question, you get your answer, it helps you make the decision and live better, right? And now you can just get all of that from generative AI. And that's why I call it the lucky future. How awesome is this? If there would be not many hallucinations, not a lot of risk, and if the technology keeps getting better, which it will, we could have the lucky future, right? We could be lucky all the time. We will have the best doctor, the best lawyer, the best partner, the best house, whatever we need for us, the best option for us at this time, at this time, at this place. And that's why I call it the lucky future. That was my presentation. Did I make it in time?
Thank you, Zarina. That was perfect. Yes, absolutely. I think this opens up to many different questions about the future, the career, how to deal with it, how to navigate it. So I think here it's, as you said, it opens the door to possibilities. The lucky future. We need just to so everybody should be probably in tune with it as well. What do you think about it? Is it something that you see like the education is becoming more and more available about these things?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think it's going to be a revolution in education too. I mean, it already is, right? I mean, we use
Yeah.
AI as tools for everything, to make our lives easier and to teach better and to learn better, right? In my class, I encourage all the students to use all the AI tools possible because it's an AI class and they should know that they exist and
Yeah.
what they do because you can either join the revolution or be left behind, right? So getting in and understanding what they do and how they work, and that's how you shape yourself where you're going forward. But I think that yeah, the fact that we teach so many AI classes, that's exactly what's needed. Everybody should learn this.
Because there is no turning point. This is the direction, basically. Yes.
I don't think we're going back. I don't think we're going back to, yeah, we
Yes.
leave the beautiful car and going back to the horse and carriage. I don't think
No.
so.
Exactly. There is still much to know, much to learn, and like the possibilities of what is going to happen, they're endless. So I suppose there is also the fact that you should always be studying and keeping updated and just understanding the possibilities.
Absolutely.